and the title of our performance is William Shirer Reporting the Nazi Reign, A Journalist's Rights and Responsibilities.
Millions died and millions fled Europe during the rise of the Third Reich. But William Shirer traveled to the continent with a mission to report the truth.
In the 1930s, he recognized his rights as a journalist and responsibly took action by broadcasting events to alert the American public about the spread of the Nazi reign.
Despite the danger and strict Nazi censorship, William Shirer continued reporting. Later, Mr. Shirer published many works that gave an eyewitness's perspective about the Nazi regime.
He wisely navigated through restrictions and risked his life to honor the rights and responsibilities of a journalist. Before William Shirer came to Berlin, he lived a simple life in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, yearning to get out to the real world and report. In 1934, as the Nazi Party increased in power, William Shirer received a job as a foreign correspondent. Being a United States citizen, he was accustomed to freedom of speech. But in Nazi Germany, he would soon experience the punitive restrictions placed on journalists due to Nazi censorship. In September of 1934, William Shirer interviewed Reverend Lenz, who knew the plight of other priests. During this interview, William Shirer not only realizes the danger of reporting, but also the importance of his work. Come in.
Hello, William Shirer.
Reverend Lenz.
Thank you so much for meeting with me today. I have a few questions for you. On my way to Berlin, my train was stopped and priests were shoved onto the back part of the train. While the German officials claimed that they were prisoners and criminals, the priests said they were innocent and they wanted me to contact you for the truth. What is going on?
They are prisoners because they defied Hitler. They refused to be a part of the Reich Church and now are being sent to concentration camps.
Can I get their names?
No! That's too dangerous. The Nazi Party will find that you are defying Hitler, charge you with espionage, putting your life in danger. Don't ever write my name, theirs or even yours.
But how can the Nazis censor my work? I'm a foreign correspondent for America. I'm not a German citizen.
Strict Nazi censorship is placed throughout Germany for citizens and foreign correspondents. We don't have freedom of speech. Nazi officials are destroying the work of journalists, even killing them. 20 journalists have died so far. Perhaps more. I've lost count.
This is terrible. 20 journalists? But as a journalist, it is my responsibility to report this information. Regardless of censorship or orders, I will carry out my job, and I promise you that.
Thank you, but you must be very careful.
I will.
The Nazi Party uses violence and lies to rise in power. But maybe if the world knew, this can be stopped before even more tragedies occur.
After this interview, Reverend Lenz and I met up on occasion. But one night, as I approached his flat, I heard agonizing screams from his wife. Reverend Lenz was being violently dragged away by Nazi officials. I couldn't take it anymore. I'd already refrained from publishing some of my stories, but Nazi censorship could no longer stop me. I decided to report each and every tragedy to the American public. Unfortunately, Nazi censorship became even more severe. The 1933 Reich press law was more strictly enforced, and it required editors to omit anything calculated to weaken the strength of the Reich abroad or in Germany. Nazi official Joseph Goebbels supervised more than 3,600 newspapers, meeting with the editors each morning and dictating what could be printed. I had a choice. I could leave Berlin and keep America naive, or I could find a way to get around censorship and take command of my responsibilities as a reporter.
Come in.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Goebbels?
Ah, yes. As the head of Ministry of Popular Enlightenment and Propaganda, I monitor over all newspapers, and I would like to discuss your articles.
All right.
Now, you're a very talented writer, but your articles are a bit critical of the Nazi Party.
I'm only reporting the truth, sir.
Maybe you should write something else. We have plenty of people covering the events in Germany. Why don't you write about Mrs. Bauer's affairs? She was last seen with...
Are you telling me I can't report the Nazi regime?
Well, you are making it seem like Germany is miserable, making it seem like the Great Führer is a controlling monster. You aren't reporting the facts, you're interpreting them. And that's what history does.
I'm reporting the facts, sir. I'm witnessing history in the making. You just don't like the truth when you read it.
Mr. Shire, the truth is that we were desperate people, starving in a world that did nothing for us. But then came a man who pulled us from despair. Germany lives today because of Adolf Hitler. This is what you need to portray in your stories.
Germany lives because of Hitler? Millions of people are being deprived of their basic human right to live. Nazi propaganda has brainwashed citizens to make them believe that this violence is justified. I don't make up these stories, sir. I'm a journalist, and it's my responsibility to provide accurate information.
You are providing false accusations about the Nazi Party.
No, I'm providing the truth, whether it harms the Nazi Party or not. You can't hold me back from my responsibility. Good day.
In 1938, William Shire left Berlin and received a job as a radio broadcaster for the CBS Murray Brothers. As a radio broadcaster, he had significant responsibility to deliver information through radio broadcasts regarding the war in Europe, but it came with great risks. Censorships became stricter. Mr. Shire wasn't even allowed to say Nazi. Once Germany learned, it had negative connotation in America. He was forced to talk in American slang, abbreviate, and use allusions to convey his message. On March 13, 1938, William Shire collaborated with his colleagues, placed all around Europe, to create one roundup radio broadcast, explaining the Nazi influence in Europe.
Tonight, the world trembles, torn by conflicting forces. Hitler completed his triumphal conquest of Austria today. The Vienna National Peace Campaign organized a big meeting, and when the meeting broke up, most of the crowd marched on to the German embassy. Mounted foot police, however, stopped the crowd. Now back to Edward Murrow in London.
Following this radio broadcast, Americans were eager for more information. On June 21st, 1941, William Shire had his career breakthrough, delivering a 6-hour-long radio broadcast explaining the signing of the armistice between Germany and France.
It is a grave hour in the life of France. Here, a few feet from where we're standing, is the signing of another armistice, the one to end the present war between Germany and France. This began at 3:30 p.m. German time.
On this day, Hitler wanted to be the first to report the Nazi Party's success, so he ordered all the journalists to return to Germany. William Shire, however, was able to evade the plane and hide nearby to get an authentic report. He was the only reporter that day who was able to give accurate information about the armistice to the world.
Following the summer of 1940, Nazi officials pressed me to broadcast official accounts I knew to be incomplete or false. Tightening censorship was undermining my ability to report objectively, and I felt I'd outlived my usefulness in Berlin. By the time I left in December of 1940, 69 journalists had been killed reporting the truth.
After William Shire left Berlin, he wrote of World War II tragedies. The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich became a New York's bestseller and was the first of books that explained the Nazi reign. The Berlin Diary, This is Berlin, and The Nightmare Years were all popular books written by Mr. Shire.
When I first wrote The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, I was merely trying to provide for my family. But it significantly impacted the American public's perception of World War II. This book put an end to the period of amnesia that followed the Holocaust, just as my radio broadcast had prevented ignorance in the late 1930s.
Not only was Mr. Shire able to broadcast events in Germany that few journalists had the bravery to, he revolutionized journalism today.
I made sure not to simply provide vague headlines in my radio talks, like many broadcasters of the time. Rather, I provided true accounts of history in the making, detailing major events and the reasoning behind them. For the first time, Americans had access to accurate and detailed information about current events.
William Shire changed journalism history. He risked his life to report the truth and carried out his job despite strict censorship. William Shire exemplifies the rights and responsibilities of a journalist.
We'll have our interview in a minute. I want to clear your stuff off and just come on down here in front. And whoever's next, are you here and ready? As soon as they clear the stage, you can, if you want to bring your stuff down and be ready to set up, that's great.